Hey guys, today we're doing my February TBR, so what I am planning to read over the month of February 2022. This month I have 7 books on my TBR, 7, so that's about an average reading month for me, maybe fractionally under average. It may be that I get to another couple, but these are the 7 I really want to at least get started with and jump into. So, first up with these is one that I am already reading through at the moment. It is a short story collection by Sebastian de Castell and it is called Tales of the Greatcoats. I am 4 stories in. I'm trying to do one a day. A few of these short stories I have read before in their own standalone versions, but they are collated here with a bunch of others that we've not seen before, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I think that de Castell does a good job writing short stories. We are introduced to some interesting new characters, whether they are greatcoats or not. They're just in the world of the greatcoats. We see some old favourites reappearing as well, and I'm really enjoying it. For 4 stories in, definitely enjoying this short story collection. I don't think it's going to take up a huge chunk of my time. I think I'm just going to be planning to read one a day for the next 4 or 5 days, and that should see me through it. But so far really enjoying it, and hopefully we'll get that done nice and quickly here in February. So then on to some books that I haven't started yet, and we're going to see a theme here of books that I really feel I should have read earlier, but I've just been delaying and delaying and delaying. So the first one of those is going to be Under Heaven by Guy Gavriel Kay. Now, Guy Gavriel Kay is a Canadian author. He has written 2 of my favourite standalone historical fantasy books ever. They are incredible. That would be The Lions of Al-Rassan and Tigana. They're the 2 of his books I have read, and I absolutely adore his style and the way he tells a story. I think they are poignant and emotional and heartbreaking and captivating and just all the good things that you want in a fantasy standalone. Under Heaven, I believe, is a historical fantasy version of the Tang dynasty in China. I do not know much about that historical period, particularly not China in that historical period. So it'll be interesting to see how that shapes the story that Guy Gavriel Kay wants to tell. I am really, really excited to get to this, and it has been far too long coming since the last Guy Gavriel Kay book I read was over 6 months ago. And I just love, love, love his writing style. So hopefully it'll be another home run for this one. The next book on this list is another one I've put off for far too long. This is an Adrian Tchaikovsky book, and it is the sequel to the first ever Tchaikovsky that I read. Last year in 2021, I read about 9 Tchaikovsky books. I enjoyed most of them. I really, really loved quite a few of them. But the first one I read was Children of Time. Children of Time is a modern take on a classic sci-fi idea-based story in which we are following both a terraforming human crew and an arachnid-based sentient life form that evolves on an alien planet. This is a wonderful, wonderful book, and I cannot wait to jump into the sequel, which is Children of Ruin. So hopefully I'll get to Children of Ruin this month. From what I have heard, it is a sequel. It is a successor to Children of Time, although not a direct sequel. We're not following the same characters necessarily straight away. There is definitely going to be some overlap, same universe, similar ideas. It will feel very much like the same series from what I've been told, although not being a direct sequel. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've heard there are many, many similarities between Children of Ruin and Children of Time, and that's actually one of the reasons I put it off for so long. I didn't want to be reading it constantly comparing it to Children of Time. I wanted it to be its own thing. Now, Children of Time has stuck with me very well. I remember a lot about it because I really, really loved it. But I am interested to see how Children of Ruin goes about doing similar things, different takes on a similar story in the same universe, and hopefully I will love it just as much. The next 2 books on my TBR for February are books that are continuations of series that I am in the middle of currently. The first of these is going to be book number 4 of the Codex Alera series by Jim Butcher. It's called Captain's Fury. I have been reading the Codex Alera books a lot more voraciously recently. I read the first one, Furies of Calderon, in November last year, I believe. But then in January, I managed to get through both book 2 and book 3, and I really, really loved them. This is a series that I am going to start binging, I feel. There are 3 books left. The next one up, like I said, is Captain's Fury, and I am really, really excited to see where this goes for Tavi and the gang as we proceed through this series. There seem to be some 1 or 2 year time jumps between a lot of these books, and I'm excited to see what has happened in the time since we've been in Alera last. Currently, every book in this series has been a 5-star read for me, so I have high, high hopes for Captain's Fury as well. The other book that is in the middle of a series that I am currently reading is book 2 of the First Law trilogy. This is Before They Are Hanged. I finished The Blade itself, book 1, just a few days ago, and I absolutely adored it. From what I've heard, Before They Are Hanged is a massive improvement even over The Blade itself, so that has gotten me really excited to see where this story goes. As a few people have told me, this feels very much like a one book split into 3 parts almost for this trilogy. They're not so distinct, they definitely have a build throughout the whole trilogy, and I'm really excited to follow along with our protagonists that we met in The Blade itself. I am predicting a 5-star rating for this as well, I hope. And considering I've only read one book by Joe Abercrombie, I have really high hopes for him as a writer. I know so many people rave about him, and from what I've seen, it's going to be right in my wheelhouse. This leaves 2 books left on this TBR. The first of these is going to be for a read-along with the library of Alan Zandria, link down below to his channel. Alan is amazing. He's doing a read-along of the Unhewn Throne series. In February, that is starting with The Emperor's Blades. Now, I don't know much about this series. I read a quick synopsis, but really I'm jumping in because we're doing a read-along on Alan's channel, and I absolutely love Alan's channel. I like being involved with his read-alongs, and they're great fun. But yes, I am hoping to get to this relatively soon, maybe middle of the month, so I can join in the discussions that are going to be being had about The Emperor's Blades. I know a few guys over on Alan's Discord have already started reading this. Some people have read the prologue and were raving about the prologue, so I am really excited to see what this is all about in this first book of the series by Brian Staveley. And the last book on my TBR for February is White Knight. This is book 9 of the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. It is a reread for me. I have read this series multiple times through. I am going through it again currently so I can get back to the last couple of books that were released last year, so I can really dig into them again and see how I feel about them on reflection. Obviously, as a book 9 in the series, I'm not going to give you too much detail about White Knight, book 9. But we are still following everyone's favourite wizard, Harry Dresden, as he gets up to more shenanigans. This one, I know from previous reads, is not one of my super high favourites, but it's definitely a mid-tier Dresden book. It's a book I really, really love, but it doesn't quite hit the heights of some of the others for me personally. I'll be interested to see how that changes on this reread. If there's anything you think that should be on my TBR going forward for March, give me your recommendations down below. And for all of you who are going to rave about how much I'm going to love Before They Are Hanged, if you haven't seen it, here is my review for The Blade itself. Go check it out.